When it comes to hunting, there's always something new to buy, always something new being marketed towards hunters to try to make you better, to make you more successful, and of course, help you shoot that buck of a lifetime. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's necessary and what's just being marketed as necessary. So in this video, I'm doing a bag dump, showing you what's in my pack and how I prepare to go into the woods. No matter if it's going to hunt elk or just take a leisurely walk and shoot a couple grouse. I keep things simple, I keep things to the point, and I make sure you guys know exactly what I think is essential, as well as what are some nice add-ons. So with that said, let's get into the video. Item categories. We'll be breaking this down into 4 item categories. First being medical, second being kill kit and survival, third being hunt specific, and number 4 is just nice to have items. For medical, I like to keep all of it in one place in one bag. That way I know exactly where it is in my pack. And that means I don't have to worry about where these items are and they're not floating around. And any kind of loose items like bandages or any kind of alcohol swabs, I also try to keep in their own containers. So let's take a look at the whole setup now. First up's Vaseline, not only for chapped lips, but it's also great for fire starting. Next up is Neosporin for any cuts or scrapes I might get in the field. Always have to have some gauze that I can wrap around any severe wounds. Then of course medical tape. Then I have ibuprofen, and then in one bottle I keep cotton balls as a good fire starter. And then of course you have to have disinfectant wipes that I keep in its own container. And then finally, a variety of band-aids. Kill kit and survival kit. I keep all of this in its own container to separate it in my bag yet again, so that way I don't lose anything. This always is in my bag and only comes out when it's absolutely needed, or if it's at the end of the season and I just want to make sure that every item in it is still viable and working properly. Let's take a look. First are carabiners, great for connecting things as well as putting things on my bag if I need to. Next are twist ties. I love these things. They're super versatile, and I even use this to hold up my bag when I'm in my tree stand. A replacement backup blade for my foldable saw. A life straw, which I think is essential to always have in your bag. Some simple paracord. Plastic sheet that can be used not only for survival, but is a great thing to have in your bag to put down meat in case you're in an area that has a lot of sand or dirt. Duct tape, because what would a survival kit be without some duct tape in it? A Havalon knife, which I'll break out and talk about a little bit more. A lighter for fire starting. And medical gloves for when I process my animals. Orange ribbon so I can mark trails as well as important locations. Multi-tool that has just a little bit of everything that I'll probably ever need. Good old zip ties. I use these to put my tag on my kill, but also they're super versatile. And finally, super glue, because if you need stitches and you're in the backcountry, this stuff right here will certainly help you out until you can get proper medical aid. One thing I also keep, but it's in the front pouch of this whole kit, is my foldable saw. Not only for clearing lanes, but it's also good to have in case I need to make a fire. And as I said earlier, the one thing I wanted to touch upon was my Havalon knife and how it has replaceable blades. This knife only touches meat and is only used for processing animals. And I always make sure to keep it in the case with its other replacement blades. Hunting specific. These are all items that I bring when I'm hunting in a very specific kind of way, or if it's a certain type of season that I'm hunting. So with that, let's break out a couple of my favorites. Bow hunting season, I always bring some kind of Allen wrench or Allen wrench set, because this is super useful. You never know when you need to tighten something up on your bow when you're in your stand. After that, I always have a backup release, because it only takes one time in the stand and leaving your release at home for you to buy a backup or use an older one that you've used before. And then finally, I always bring some bowstring wax and I put a little piece of leather in with the case. And that's just so that I can wax my string throughout the season. Oftentimes, bringing your bow in and out of the woods can be a little bit rough on the string, so I like to make sure I wax it properly, especially when there's bad weather. The next set is just calls. So this is showing off my elk call, mouth call for turkey, and then obviously a slate call for turkey as well, just to kind of show this is what I bring when I have to do communication with various kinds of species, and obviously a very specific kind of hunt. Nice to have items. This next one, some people might think is essential. I do think it's a nice to have, maybe not must have, but I personally always have it on me, and that is a backup knife that is more my utility knife. These are great for cutting paracord or doing the things that you don't want to do with your knife that you're going to use to process your animal. Next up is a duster or something to check the wind. These are great and are really useful, especially if you're deer hunting, elk hunting. And what's also nice about this is that oftentimes you can refill them by just using cheap baby powder. They're useful, they're not a must-have, but they certainly are nice to have when you're in your tree stand. And then my favorite item that I use when it's really dark and I'm walking into my stand, of course, is a headlamp. I think that it's absolutely great to have a headlamp compared to just using your phone, and you have the option for different brightness as well as having a red light, which helps your eyes. I highly recommend that if you're going to bring in a headlamp into the woods, that you have a spare pair of batteries, because when you're looking for that trophy buck after you shot it and it starts to get dark, you're going to be very happy that you have these extra batteries with you. After that, I always have a cleaning cloth for my optics, especially for my binos and my rangefinder. So if you have any kind of optics that you're going to bring in the woods, it's always nice to have some kind of microfiber cleaning cloth that you can bring in as well to make sure your optics stay nice and clean. And then finally, this is something I rigged up really quick for a shoulder strap so that I can carry either turkey out, or I can strap it to ducks or any kind of wild game I want to, and make sure to carry it out in a comfortable manner. Since I already had this strap laying around, I just rigged it up so that I could put any part of the animal that I wanted to around it and then just help carry it out. This is something that's obviously nice to have. Even if you have something laying around like this, a shoulder strap from a gym bag, you could do the same thing. So there's my medical kit, my kill kit and survival kit, my hunt specific items, and then what I think is just nice to have. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, shoot straight and knock something down.